Hello and welcome back to 7 Days of Panto, and today is our dress rehearsal day. I figured this might be interesting, so I've come backstage and just talked through some of the things you can see here. We have lots of these things about facilities panels. So we have DMX at the top, we've got some network connections, plenty of 16 amp power. This one over here is a Soccerpex lighting outlet, so that lets you run 6 channels of usually dimmer power, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's usually dimmer power down one cable. Normal part. This one here, mainly used by the audio people, but we've actually got again network connections, video connections. We've got actually unusually audio fibre as well. We don't actually use that for this particular show, but that's a handy thing now. It's becoming more and more popular. And then loads of connections here for intercoms. There's a routing panel somewhere else, so we can actually route comms to anywhere we like, and we can, if we want to, run loudspeaker connections through speakons on there. One that you might not have seen very often, cue lights. So we still use the system of red and green lights for giving cues to people, so we can do it in absolute silence. There'll be a red light and a green light, so it lets you work it well. Some audio tie lines on multi-rays there. We've got 3 separate 3-phase outlets here. The one in the middle is a little bit unusual. Sometimes in riders it's actually specified that they want a 3-phase 63 amp output that does not have RCD protection, because they've got their own protection in the connected items, and it's not really considered the dumb thing to have 2. This is our props table. There's one of these either side of the stage, ready for people to use. Now we've got some loaves of bread. Well, they're actually not loaves of bread at all. They look like bread, but of course they're actually foam inside. We're very good at making mock food. Slippers for the ugly sisters. So we've got the dog ones and the swan ones. This is also where battery chargers and things get lumped. So we've got battery chargers here, which are for our wireless comm packs. We use these. Charge the batteries up overnight and away you go. Magic wands. The idea with segregating the table is quite a good one, because it just means that it's very obvious when a prop is not where it should be. So it's frowned upon to just dump things on this table, and of course people like me tend to do that. But the idea is that one of the actors can come over here. Their props are always going to be in exactly the same place. And we spend quite a bit of time tracking down missing things and moving them back to where they should be. I mentioned cue lights. I suppose I'll really show you what one actually looks like. So we follow that cable there. So in this case, the cue light unit is actually just sitting up there on the wall, and everyone can see it. This is actually a very clever sort of networked version, but traditionally they used to just have a red light and a green light. Here we are in the other one. So we've got the cushion for Cinderella's sparkly slipper. We have what looks like a cage with mice in it. Now, of course, if you know the story of Cinderella, you'll know that the mice turn into the coach and horses. Scrubbing brushes, cloths, all sorts of bits and pieces. And dummy microphones. And as usual in pantomime, they're all sparkly. It's quite odd to see pumpkin heads lying about. This is part of one of the dance scenes, so we actually have 8 pumpkin heads, and the dancers wear those to do a dance in. I'm not actually convinced they can really see very much out of that little hole there, but they manage pretty well. Many people don't realise that for you to be able to see the light beams in the air, you need haze machines. So these things run all the time. There's one this side of the stage and one on the other, and you can see the haze coming out of here, and it just distributes itself nice and evenly, and as the lights go through it, they leave the lovely patterns in the air. Now, one of the things that I'd love to show you, but I can't, is just the other side of this small barrier. as you'll see from the signs, cast, crew, anyone on stage is not under any circumstances allowed to take pictures of them. We take it very seriously. We just don't want people to see it. Most of the things in the pantomime tend to be very traditional, and I think people know what's coming. But some of it really needs to be saved, so when the audience see it, they just go, wow, that's really good. And this pantomime is full of wow stuff. With pantomimes, you often find very strange things stored in unusual locations. And what we've got here is the rear of one of the pieces of scenery. And of course, it's become home to a unicorn costume. One of the things you always see in theatres is access equipment. Now, we still do use ladders, old conventional ladders, but they're just not particularly practical anymore. So this type of powered unit is what we use to actually get up to lights, some of the sound equipment. Maybe we have to replace the pyros that hang down. We've got some things like confetti bursts. They hang down from a lighting bar, and on cue they go pop and shower everybody with confetti. And these powered machines are what we use to actually get up there and do the work. One of the things about stage scenery is that they're painted to look absolutely lovely from the audience's point of view. And if you go off stage, rapidly they turn into ordinary plain timber. And the reverse of all these, as you can see here, is not painted at all. We never paint the back of anything the audience can't see. It's totally pointless. So the back of all these scenery units is just completely ordinary wood. And then we have amazingly talented scenic artists who actually paint the fronts to make these look amazing. So in a few minutes our dress rehearsal is going to start, and we'll run through the show, hopefully without stopping. And then tonight we'll do our proper dress rehearsal, where the show will be as if it was open to the public, but just no audience. And our first paying guests arrive tomorrow. So tomorrow is our first show day. Take care, look after yourselves, and we'll see you on the next video.